break points in the game. They're most of the game in the last 20 seasons. They lead 66-52 at the half. Third quarter, this thing went from bad to ugly. Rudy Gay, he's picked by Curry. Then he brings it the other way, finds Durant. Warriors by 20. In fact, here's how good it was for the Warriors and how bad it was for the Spurs. In the third quarter alone, the Warriors scored 49 points. That is tied for the most allowed in any quarter in Spurs team history. That's a storied history. That's an aggressive dunk. That is also happy Kevin Durant, basketball player. This, however, is post-game with the media, Kevin Durant, following the 141-102 win.
We've noticed that you hadn't talked for a while. Is it anything to do with anything on your mind, or has it just been coincidence that you haven't talked for some time?
Why do you care?
Because you usually talk.
Oh, well, I didn't feel like talking the last couple of days.
It was anything in particular?
No, I just didn't feel like it.
Had anything to do with conversation about free agency?
Yeah, that's the conversation you're going to have. I don't think about that type of stuff. That's your job. I have nothing to do with the Knicks. I don't know who traded Porzingis. They got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to play basketball. Y'all come here every day, ask me about free agency, ask my teammates, my coaches. You rile up the fans about it. Let us play basketball. That's all I'm saying. And now when I don't want to talk to y'all, it's a problem with me. Come on, man. Grow up. Grow up. Yeah, you, grow up. Come on, bro. I come in and go to work every day. I don't cause no problems. I play the right way, or I try to play the right way. I try to be the best player I can be every possession. What's the problem? What am I doing to y'all? I just don't trust none of y'all. Every time I say something, it's get twisted up and thrown out in so many different publications, try to tear me down with my words that I say. So when I don't say nothing, it's a problem. I just want to play ball. I want to go to the gym and go home. That's all. Is that a problem? All right, then.
How are you playing? How's the team playing in the last couple weeks?
I'm done. You know you don't care about that.
I just asked you.
Have a good night.
I'm sorry, who needs to grow up?
I kind of need...
Is he looking in the mirror?
I wish I had a two-shot with you to speak to America about that. I have things to say, but that's not our job. Kevin Durant might not want to talk about it, but he's one of a number of star players who have a chance to hit free agency this offseason. You've got Durant, Kawhi, Kyrie, Clay, Kemba, a lot of Ks, all all-stars from this season who, Nicole, can potentially hit the market.
Can we talk about James Harden? Because that actually will make me feel better. And he's still streaking, not in the quad, though. Rockets taking on the Kings early in the first. Step back. Seen that a few million times. It was a wee bit hot early. There's another one. 12 points in the first quarter for James Harden. Rockets were up 15 in the second, so this got away from them quickly. Harden, corner. Does he call bank? I don't know, doesn't matter. He called bank on the foul. Turns that into a 4-point play. Mike D'Antoni was like, they set the tone early. Well, here's why. Because on the very next possession after the 4-point play, screen, another three, and Harden has 4 threes for the half. Later in the second, Rockets now up 26. Clearly defense was optional or just completely misguided. Why do you put 5 on Chris Paul and leave James Harden with his 253s so far this season wide open? That's another one. 5 threes at the half. And then next possession, 6th three-point attempt. 6 good on 7 attempts. 25 points in the first half, 6 threes, tied for the most by Harden in a half in his career. Rockets now up 31 in the third. Another 3. Why not? So now he's at 28. And then the very next possession, he goes for his 8th 3 of the game. It's good. 31 points for Harden. Fun fact, 28 straight games of 30-plus points for Harden. More on that in a second. Rockets were only up 25 points in the fourth quarter, and things got a little chippy. Harden's still playing. Why? Fouled by Frank Mason, and then watch the reaction. He throws the ball at Mason's feet.
Yes.
I'm going to throw my ball at you. Come on, guys. Break it up. Break it up. Mason did hit Harden kind of in the face.
Did he hit his face or his beard?
I think it was the beard, but the beard's attached to the face, so therefore we're going to call it facial region.
Possessions, what? 9/10.
Hence the law. Harden got teed up. Chris Paul had 15 points. Eric Gordon was back. Rockets led by as many as 37. Harden said we're kind of catching momentum. It's the third straight win for the Rockets, 127-101, and it does continue. Harden is now at 28 straight games with 30 points. That's the third longest streak in NBA history. His current average over those 28 games is north of 41 points per. It is helped by those consecutive 55-ish point games a few weeks ago. Next up, Rockets Thunder Saturday night. You can see it on ABC.
Your Anthony Davis update. Practice Wednesday with the Pelicans, but sat out the game against the Bulls. The Brow has been nursing a finger injury for the last 2 weeks. The Pelicans brass still holding out on trading their star center while actually holding him out. Head coach Alvin Gentry said he will not play until Davis, until after the trade deadline if he is still on the team. For that trade deadline, 3 p.m. Eastern. Hello, Woj.
You guys, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning to you. He's been working all day and all night. He's here first thing in the morning to tell us this. Where do we stand between the Lakers, AD, and everything else?
Well, Lakers and Pelicans, there's been no communication here the last 48 hours. New Orleans has not responded to the Lakers' most recent offer. The Lakers upped their offer, added more young players into their deal. They've offered 2 first-round picks, and this potentially would be a pretty big, complicated deal. There'd be a lot of moving parts, protections on draft picks, and the longer you go without talking, these are hard to put together quickly. So the Lakers' hope of finding a pathway to a deal for Anthony Davis, has really waned the last couple of days. The Lakers have made calls on other deals. They checked in on Trevor Ariza in Washington to see if there was a way to get at him. Washington wants to keep him, re-sign him. Right now with the clock ticking toward 3 o'clock Eastern, it looks less likely than it has at any point in this that, at least with the Lakers, there's any deal. And right now, New Orleans isn't down the road with any team, but, deadlines cause teams to move and people to react. And so you never know what happens between now and mid-afternoon.
3 o'clock is the trade deadline. The interesting situation last night, Harrison Barnes traded from the Mavericks in the middle of the game. We'll have LeBron's reaction to that coming up in a little bit, but that does free up, $30 million in cap space for the Mavericks this offseason. What can they do? What do they want to do with that money?
Well, you look at how their team's going to be built now around a 19-year-old Luka Doncic, 23-year-old Kristaps Porzingis. They may not be in the market for one of the elite free agents. They haven't shown in Dallas that they can recruit that kind of player. You go back through the years, toward the end of their career, they've missed on a lot. But they may be a year or two away again as free agents look at partnering with those 2 players. Porzingis comes back healthy. And I think people are just, the idea of playing with Doncic is going to become more and more intriguing to people. I do think Dallas can become a free agent factor again among the elite. I don't know if they are with these players still in their early 20s. And just because you have the space doesn't mean you have to use it. You can, get guys that may be a big number for 1 year, come back into free agency 2020 or 21.
Doncic, by the way, isn't even in his early 20s.
It's amazing. He's
he hasn't even hit
19
that.
years old.
Yeah.
What we see on trade deadline day is teams making moves for the right now, teams making moves for the future. Woj, a consummate pro, didn't even have a cell phone on the desk on trade day.
I know, because I think it just goes directly into his ear. Hey, look, if it happens on or before trade deadline, we totally have you covered because SportsCenter is live on your TV now until 1 p.m. Eastern, and then that is followed by The Jump and their trade deadline special. We promise you're not going to miss a single thing. Good morning. Briscoe and Barry. Actually, it could be Barry and Briscoe.
Could be Barry and Briscoe.
I actually like Barry and Briscoe better.
Well, by alphabetical.
There you go. Yeah. So it's Barry and Briscoe. That is Giannis. Bucks hosted the Wizards. But before we get to last night's game, I want to remind you what happened February the 6th, 1 year ago. Giannis all over Tim Hardaway Jr. We show you that because last night was a bit of a dunk fest early in the first quarter. Malcolm Brogdon misses, but Giannis, that's how you're a good teammate. Was he playing tennis with that grunt and groan? Little Euro step. Getting in. The Bucks scored 50 in the first quarter. They were 20 of 27 from the field, 7 of 9 from 3. Giannis, it was a crazy game. And more of the Giannis in the second quarter. Spinning around, dunks it, and then gets the screen from Brook Lopez. Brogdon, no look pass. 3-pointer, it's good. 85 points for the Bucks in the first half. 43 points for Giannis in the game, only 4 assists. Bucks led 85-65. No one was missing. That's my point. No one was missing, including that guy. The fan, half-court shot, he gets $5,000. He sunk it. Indicative of the night. Giannis, I do it all by myself, toddler style. Like I said, 43 points, one shy of tying his career high. Defense was clearly optional in this one. Coach Bud said it was like watching an ABA game. First team with 40 wins this season. You're looking at them. The Bucks 148-129. The final. The Bucks dunked 16 times last night as a team. It was the most dunkalicious game in the last 20 seasons. Yeah, I said it. It's also tied for the second most by a team in the last 2 decades. Giannis basically lived at the rim. He made 14 field goals in that restricted area. It's the 5th time he's had more than a dozen buckets at the rim this season. The rest of the NBA, as in all of the NBA, has 1. And Giannis was slightly ridiculous, 17 for 21 from the floor. Quick math, that's 81% and tied for the second best in a Bucks game ever. Only Kareem, not mortal, was better.
I'm not saying Hornets Mavs on paper wasn't interesting, but there was stuff interesting within this game that made it more interesting. Luka always good. Lobs it up in transition, blocks Kemba Walker, finds Tim Hardaway Jr. He's got skills. Mavs up 1. Then Doncic. He had it all going. More on that in a minute. Mavs up 6, but here's where it gets bizarre. Harrison Barnes. This is just a Harrison Barnes layup to the left, right? Looks good off the glass. But that would be his last bucket because he was reportedly traded to the Kings mid-game. Here's Rick Carlisle.
Look, this is madness, right now, this week, it's just, it's a zoo, but that's part of the real compelling aspect of our league. I mean, the trade deadline goes through tomorrow afternoon, so, hang on to your you-know-what. I mean, it's going to, there's probably going to be more madness going on around the league.
I think he meant hang on to your Doncic.